Okay, so the US government is literally trying to demolish Tesla. I'm not even exaggerating. This is as bad as it sounds. Now, everybody knows that guy in every group of friends that has no idea what he's doing. He's literally fumbling through life, making every possible mistake, ends up working as a security guard for that, donkey theater company in Mexico.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Well, that is literally the US government at this point, because they've made every possible mistakes to screw themselves. Because we are talking about Tesla, the only company in the past 45 years to actually compete against the Germans, against the Koreans, against the Japanese. The US auto industry has been in their absolute toilet for the past 4 decades, getting annihilated by Mercedes, by BMW, by Kia, by Hyundai, you name it. The US auto industry have lost to it. Every single car manufacturer in the world have been shellacking the US auto industry since the 80s. Now, they've been barely scraping by, but at a cost. Look at GM and Ford. Open up their balance sheet. They have over $110 billion of debt each. And each has $21 billion of cash. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Look at this. Siamese twins, my guy. Come on. Now, these companies are being pretty much held on life support by the US government, but that is not enough apparently. Now, we have to destroy the one company, the only company that actually can offer competition to the rest of the world, which is actually dominating the EV market, which is the next big market. We have to destroy it because it's interfering with the companies that we're keeping literally on life support, which is Ford and GM. Unbelievable. Now, what am I talking about here? Because this is absolutely boils my blood. You know how this, the joke about the donkey? What is a donkey? A donkey is a horse planted by committee. Well, that would be a compliment to what this administration is doing. I'm not even talking about the previous iterations of what we saw, how Joe Biden forgot to invite Tesla to an EV convention in the White House. Literally, the company holds 70% of the US market. How he forgot to even name Tesla and thank Mary Barra from GM for leading the EV industry.
You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
GM, the company that has the lyric that they sold 36 units of in Q3. I literally mean 36 units, not 36,000. I mean, this is the leaders, right? Anyways, so the US government has never been a fan of that. They tried it before with the UAV, with the auto unions, and they tried a whole bunch of horse shit to go at Tesla. But this time, they literally have gone too far because this time, it's so blatant, it actually, insults my intelligence. Do they think people won't notice? Now, what I'm talking about is the new EV tax credit is part of the new anti-inflation legislation, which in itself is a kind of a Frank Kafka film at this point because it's absolutely ridiculous. So this Kafka-esque thing is going on right in front of us when, they're giving away a tax credit. Now, a tax credit is very simple. You file your taxes, you have a tax liability. If you have that $7,500 tax credit, you get it back. You don't pay taxes. If you have too little taxes, you get to carry it forward for future years. You never get cash, but you get pretty much as good as cash. Now, they made it sound reasonable when you start reading this tax credit because, if you are over $300,000 as a household, you can't get it. If you're buying a truck or an SUV about $80,000, you shouldn't get it. I mean, you're buying a premium car, right? If you're buying a sedan about $55,000, you shouldn't get it. So it all makes sense on the face of it, right? If you're a rich mother lover with above $300,000 as a household, if you're a rich mother lover who buys a truck for more than $80,000, if you're a rich mother lover who buys a sedan for over $55,000, you shouldn't be eligible. And to that part, I couldn't agree more. Why not? Sure, we don't want to give this credit to people who have too much money already. I mean, come on, let's be fair. But then, at that point is where things become a little shady because at this point it actually goes off the rails. Get this. Now, the cars that qualify for this tax credit are cars that you wouldn't really qualify as electric vehicles per se because they're all hybrids, like the Q5 from Audi, the BMW X5e, or even the Ford Escape. I don't know why anybody would buy that piece of car, but all these cars qualify. And they qualify as an SUV, which means that the price cap for these cars to be eligible for this refund is $80,000. So you can buy a BMW X5e, an Audi Q5, and a Ford Escape, I don't know why would you, among other cars, which are all 5-seater SUVs, which means 5 people fit in it. It's an SUV. You buy it below $80,000, you get the credit. However, the Model Y with the 5 seats is not eligible. Why? No idea. If you look at the dimensions of this car, it's pretty much identical, if not bigger than the Ford Escape. It's 7 inches longer and just about an inch and a half shorter than the Ford Escape, and yet somehow it is not an SUV. Now, again, in my mind, it's actually ridiculous. Some may say, well, Tom, it's not an anti-Tesla thing. It's not pro-GM and Ford because the GM Lyriq doesn't qualify. It's an SUV with 5 seats, and it doesn't qualify. Yeah, my guy, these mother lovers sold 36 units of it in the previous quarter. They don't give a flying rat's ass about the Lyriq. The Lyriq is just there for PR. GM couldn't give a rat's ass about this car. Nobody does. You know anybody with the Lyriq? And this is the part that really annoys me and pisses me off. And as an American, I think you should feel the same thing. Because the United States government let this happen. They've let the auto industry become an antiquated dinosaur. They've lost the battle for the global auto industry back in the 80s. The Japanese took it, the Koreans took it, the Europeans took it. Literally, everybody took a shot at the US auto industry, and they've never recovered since. Look at the data. But somehow, by sheer miracle, the United States have fell ass backwards into this amazing thing that is called Tesla. A company that's not only beating everybody else, it's actually light years away from the competition, literally taking over the EV industry, which is the next big wave in the auto industry. But instead of nurturing that and understanding, hey, this is the next big growth engines for the US, we have to protect this company by all means, we're going to do something different as the US government. We're going to take these two companies, Ford and GM, which have failed again and again, and have failed and have failed and have failed, and were bailed out again and again and again, and we're going to kick Tesla in the nuts just so Ford and GM can keep surviving, hanging on by a thread with their $100 billion debt and uncompetitive shit cars. So the next question is, what can we do? Now look, I don't know if this is a clerical mistake, pure negligence, or intentional fuckery with Tesla. Each of these options, actually, I don't know which one looks worse for this government, but that is irrelevant. Go right now to the link below. It's a petition opened up by Farzad. Sign it. There's already almost 9,000 people who signed it. Please sign it so that the IRS can actually change the definition of an SUV to include Model Y, like any other SUV in the market, and actually include Tesla in this tax credit. And for all the haters in the comments, I find you guys really peculiar because you guys have been so flaky that you remind me of a Wiener Schnitzel in Vienna. I mean, you guys went from loving Elon, from saying he's the greatest genius of all times, into hating him just because he bought Twitter and tweeted a few posts that are a little bit too political for you. You forgot everything he's done with Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, Starlink. That's all forgotten now? I mean, come on. That's pathetic. Now, again, I know the haters will be hating, and I don't care. But the ones who actually care about Tesla and care about the US and want to see the right thing done, please go sign the petition. I'll see you in the next video.